the Bank of Japan had their meeting, and effectively what they agreed to do was to not increase interest rates any further if it causes market volatility. And so what the market said is, well, that's amazing, and it's almost like the Bank of Japan capitulated, and now the markets are loving that announcement. So we got the altcoins absolutely green. We have Bitcoin over 57,000, in fact at 57,200. And markets effectively celebrating. Now, there's two sides to the camp here. One camp says that if you bought the dip yesterday, you were the best buy in the world. And the other camp says that if you bought the dip yesterday, there's going to be another big leg down, and they don't trust the Bank of Japan action. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at what happened with the Bank of Japan and decide whether this whole thing is over, or whether we've just taken a painkiller but not actually solved the problem. Then, I read a tweet this morning, and at first I thought, like, this is the craziest tweet I've ever seen in my life. This is the tweet. I want you to have a look at it. So this is the tweet over here, and it says, it's alt season is here. I'm like, how can you say that alt season is here? Especially when, okay, the bubbles look like this today, but if you look at them on the weekly, you got the biggest tokens down in last week, 30%, 35%. But actually there is one chart that convinced me that we may actually be heading to the part of the cycles where altcoins run. And I want to show you the chart and show you which altcoins may actually be running. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Again, we've got a massive show here today. I'm wearing another white shirt, which was washed by the magnificent laundry powder. Let's get the show on the road, guys. I see under AS says, I love your white sweater, best washing powder ever. Guys, we should have a referral link for washing powder. We should do like a referral link for this laundry detergent. For the laundry detergent, we should have a thing. Anyway, guys, big day today. We're going to talk about a lot. We've got a lot to talk about. The first thing we need to discuss today is this whole carnage over, and are we back in full bull season? Because if yes, you want to be buying the dip. But if no, then if you did buy the dip, there may be another leg down, and we may actually keep dipping. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Also, I'm going to show you one altcoin that you shouldn't give up on, one altcoin that you should give up on, one altcoin ecosystem that nobody's looking at that you should be looking at, and one chart that tells me that it may even be alt season. So listen. Yesterday, you guys did a fucking fantastic job. You took the likes to over 2,000 likes while we were live on the show. As a result of that, yesterday's show got over 75,000 views. We know this because we actually keep all the data in a spreadsheet, right? We keep all the likes. We even keep how many people are in the waiting room before the show starts, and we'll never start unless there's 1,000 people in the waiting room. And we know that every time that you guys smash the like button, and every time you guys smash the like button, it helps us get the show out there. So do me a favor. Let's start now. Smash the like button. Let's get a lot of people to watch the show and to join the Banter fam. I have something that I want to share with you guys, but I'm not allowed to share it yet. But it's probably the biggest thing that Banter's ever done. And when we do this, it'll be because of the community, and it is the biggest thing that we've ever done. I'm so excited to talk about it, but I'm not allowed to because I've signed NDAs. And until I sign the NDAs, all I can say, it has something to do with Formula One. And that's all I'm saying. And I shouldn't have even said that. I shouldn't have said that. For God's sake, why did I say that? Anyway, I know you've all subscribed. I know you're all smashing the like button. Let's talk about what happened today on the markets. A lot of people are calling it a capitulation from the Japanese bank because the Bank of Japan's deputy governor pledged to refrain from further rate hikes if they're going to destabilize markets, which is what he said. So effectively what they said is, we're not going to raise interest rates any further. And that gave people a lot of confidence, because if interest rates aren't going to be raised any further, then there is a chance that this whole problem has now gone away. I tweeted a few days ago and I said, all the Fed or the Treasury need to do is indicate that they are going to intervene and this whole scenario is finished. And in this case, the Fed and the Fed and the Treasury but of Japan basically said, look, we're not going to make matters worse. We're not going to increase rates any further. And so the markets are pretty much now at a sense of calm. And as you can see, the Japanese stock market, or the futures, up 6% on the day, which is amazing. That obviously spread to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ up 1.34%. These are the NASDAQ futures. The NASDAQ is opening in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the Nasdaq's now open, up 1.32% on the futures. Bitcoin over 57,200, and the altcoins another sea of green. Now, I think we just need to quickly understand that the Nikkei has gone up quite a bit. I mean, the Nikkei has already recovered 66% of its crash, but Bitcoin hasn't recovered it. So there could be, if the bulls are right here, we could get the Bitcoin price actually recovering very fast. Let's quickly just understand what happened this morning because in order to understand whether it's bull or bear season, we have to understand what actually happened. Okay, so what actually happened? Remember yesterday when we did the show, I said that the Bank of Japan was in an emergency meeting. They had the emergency meeting. They came out of the emergency meeting. They said, look, we won't raise rates when markets is unstable. So they won't raise rates when markets is unstable, not are unstable, must maintain current degree of easing for time being. Market moves are extremely volatile. So basically they said, look, for as long as the market remains volatile, they have no intention of crashing markets. And so they basically promised, they did like a pinky promise. You know, like when we were kids and it's like, pinky swear you won't raise interest rates anymore. And then like everyone says, pinky swear I'm not going to raise interest rates anymore. And then like we both pinky swear that so there's not going to be an interest rate raise, right? So now what the Bank of Japan has done is they've done a pinky swear that they're not going to raise interest rates anymore if they believe that it's going to affect markets. And so with that in mind, okay, the markets have basically said, okay, if you're willing to pinky swear, did you guys in your country, do you do pinky swear in Romania? Like when you pinky swear? You do. Okay, let me know in the chat if you do pinky swear. Okay, if you do if you do pinky. Someone says, am I a racist? I think we should block this 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥 from the thing because he's white. We should block him. We don't like, unless you're as white as the shirt. Okay. We don't do woke on the show, bro. You should know we don't do woke on the show. You want woke, you should go to 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗦. By the way, did you see 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗦? You want to talk about like woke? If you want to, I think if you are woke, you should go to 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗦 because Kamala Harris says she's building a movement for support. It's called Crypto for Harris. Crypto is building a movement of support for Kamala Harris. A group of industry leaders, policy experts, and everyday crypto enthusiasts are organizing to back Harris while pushing for a nuanced policy stance. And now she's saying, look, apparently they're building a movement for crypto support. I'm your target audience, and so are my audience. It's woman for woman. This is not about woman for woman. This is about fucking the future of crypto. You don't just because, hey, I'm a woman, you're a woman, okay, we must now like hang out here. You got to look at the future of the industry. Anyway, if you woke, she's very good. You should go to her streams. Rant over. So, Japanese people agreed to do a pinky swear not to raise interest rates anymore. And the market liked it. The yen fell against the dollar. Look at this beautiful sharp fall against the dollar. So the yen now fell against the dollar. You've got the Japanese market up 6%, that's quite a respectable 6%. And people are basically saying what they did was the Bank of Japan actually surrendered. Some people are saying, the bulls are saying, okay, that's it. It's risk on right now. And this is Kapoor, he's part of our research team, he's in front runners. A hard worker, smart guy. He says basically now it's risk on. The markets are basically saying, look, the Bank of Japan has put a risk on back on the market. Dan Tapiero says likely that yesterday was the low for everything. Why? Third largest spike in the VIX over the last 35 years. Unwarranted. Remember, when the VIX goes up, the VIX is a volatility index. A lot of the algo trading platforms, the robotic trading platforms on Wall Street basically trigger automatic trades because that's just how they are. So the VIX is, why are people laughing in the chat? Why are people laughing? Okay, sorry, let's carry on. So to extreme, he says, given much better macro fundamentals backdrop today than 2008, the market could see a retest, blah, blah, blah. He says, worst over. Arthur Hay says, worst over. He says, just so I'm clear, buy the fucking dip because the Bank of Japan caved. I will follow up Spirited Away next week with an essay. He's going to write an essay again. Lots of people are starting to buy again. An OG who accumulated 10,000 Bitcoin, sold all his coins at 68,000, started buying back yesterday at 50,000. A sole investor and an early Sol investor that bought Sol mostly at $1, started buying back yesterday at $115. So a lot of people are saying the worst is over. This chart over here, very interesting chart, incredibly interesting chart. It is the chart of the Bitcoin over the VIX, and it touched this line, and this effectively means that it's in trend. The Bitcoin divided by the VIX is in trend. Bitcoin divided by fear in the stock market is in trend, and it feels like Bitcoin is actually going to go up again based on this chart. And Richard Tang, who's the new CEO of Binance, at least while CZ is in jail, which he comes out, by the way, in September, he says they had a record day yesterday, $1.2 billion worth of inflows in the last 24 hours. That's good. That's amazing. Also saw their highest trading volumes year to date. So a lot of people are saying that this is just, that this whole scenario is over. But then you have another camp. And the other camp is the part that worries me. And that's why I made this thumbnail over here. Because what it feels like the Bank of Japan has done is, okay, it's like this. Imagine it like this. Imagine we go to a party and you've got a headache. Okay, so we go to a party, you got a headache. And so what you do is you drink and drink and drink and your headache gets even worse. So what you do is you take a painkiller and then you carry on drinking, right? You're not solving the cause of the headache. You're just taking a painkiller. What the Bank of Japan did doesn't solve the problem. All it does is it says, okay, they've done like a pinky swear, and they're like, take a painkiller, don't worry. But the cash and carry trade is still there and has not been unwound. And if ever they break their pinky promise, or if ever there's a reason for them to increase rates again, or if ever the market worries again, this thing just comes back. And that's why some people think that this is just a bear trap. Lady of Crypto says this is the biggest bear trap that she's ever seen. She's not the only one. Now, the reality is, I want to just quickly look at the scenario. If the bears are right here, let's just, for 1 second, let's just assume that the bears are right. Where does Bitcoin go? What's the next price level for Bitcoin? So even if the bears are right, where does Bitcoin actually go? And to do that, someone says, pinky swear in Japanese, 𝗤𝗘𝗓𝗔𝗪. Let's just quickly see if that's true, because let's say, 𝗤𝗘𝗓𝗔𝗪. That's a song, bro. That's a song. Okay, wait, translation. Maybe he's right. 𝗤𝗘𝗓𝗔𝗪 translation. Passing you by on the street far away. Bro, what are you talking about? We're talking about pinky swears. You're talking about a song. Anyway, long story short. If the bears are right. Now, I mean, we're going to make an assumption because we've got to look at both sides. One side says the worst is over. The other side says biggest bear trap that they've ever seen. Generally, Bitcoin will honor a whole lot of different price levels. And I want to look at those price levels to show you how bad it could get, okay, if the bears are actually right. Because I think that's important in doing a risk-return calculation. So if the bears are right, we could go to either of these levels. Okay. There are multiple price levels in Bitcoin's life cycle that we've got to look at. The first thing is the ETFs. The average buy price of the ETFs is at 65,000. We've broken that buy price. And in the break of that buy price, the ETFs proved to us that they weren't selling. They were buying. The next level is the 55,000 level. If you take the total average of all Binance traders on Binance, the total average is 55,000. At 55,000, that level is, we're pretty close to the 55,000 level. At that 55,000 level, the Binance guys are at break even. And that is a risk because when a cohort gets to break even, that is when they're most likely to sell because they don't want to go into losses. So 55 is a very key level. The mining companies, get this, the mining companies, their average cost base is $45,000. So if we break below or close to $45,000, that becomes a key level because the mining companies don't want to lose money either, right? And I quickly verified this. Right now, the average cost of mining in the UK, in the USA is about $43,000. So it's true. We don't want to break anywhere around $45,000 because then the mining companies start losing money. We don't want the mining companies losing money because then they will start selling their stash. And then there's like one other cohort of people. It is the Bitcoiners, the old OG Bitcoiners, and their cost base is 22,000. So Ignore all the squiggly lines on Twitter, the voodoo lines on Twitter with the charts that people make. Look at these levels, because these are the real key levels. The mining one is the biggest one. We should never go under 45, because if we go to 45, the mining companies start losing money, and that's bad. So if the bears are right, those are the levels that you need to watch out for. Those are the levels that you guys must watch out for if the bears are right. I think that for now, because markets are naturally optimistic. Now, this is very important that you understand this, right? If you are in a room of 10 people and you ask a room of 10 people, is the market going to go up or is the market going to go down? Majority of the people will always say the market's going to go up. Why? Because humans are naturally optimistic. That is how humans evolve. Humans, naturally, when we are born optimistic people. It's actually chemically innate in us, specifically in our younger years. In our younger years, we're stupidly optimistic. And then as we get older, we become less and less and less optimistic. That is how humans are made up, right? Like, that is how humans are made up. We have much more serotonin, specifically in our young years, and that usually makes us optimistic people. So, honestly, in markets, generally, you expect more people to be optimistic than pessimistic. And the reason for that is, it is the reason why humans evolve. It's also the reasons why bull markets are always usually, markets are usually moving upwards, because humans are naturally optimistic people, right? However, every now and then we have corrections. Every now and then we have a correction. We just had a correction. You can see that corrections only happen, like 5% corrections happen in markets 3 times a year on average. 10% happens once a year on average. 50% on traditional markets happens once every second year, and 20% pullbacks happen once every 3 or 4 years. Naturally, because humans are optimistic, this is how things work out. But every now and then we have corrections. And what is a correction? A correction is an opportunity for the market to correct. And by correct, we mean take things from the hands that they shouldn't be in and put them in the correct hands. Next time the market undergoes a correction, what you got to think to yourself is, oh my God, this is a correction. What is a correction supposed to do? A correction takes coins from the wrong hands and corrects it by putting it into the correct hands. And that's exactly what this correction did. This correction took the money from, in the stock market, retail sold 1 billion, institutions bought 14 billion. You get it? Stocks went from the incorrect lettuce, cabbage, spinach hands to the correct hands. That's why it was a correction, okay? In Bitcoin, 404,448 Bitcoin have moved from permanent holder addresses to permanent holder addresses in the past 30 days. It's an accumulation period. A correction is about coins, assets, investments moving from the wrong hands to the correct hands, which is why it's called a correction. What we're realizing now is that the ETF holders are the correct hands, because they are diamond hands. Because when the market went down, the market went down 14% over the weekend, and they did not sell a single coin. In fact, they bought. Not only did they buy Bitcoin, but they actually landed up buying Ethereum too, which was huge. It looks like the ETFs are now moving into the second phase, where 15,000 wealth advisors are going to be selling Bitcoin ETFs, because they're now allowed to, okay? They're now allowed to. Simon Book says corrections are gorgeous opportunities. They are if you are the correct hands, because if you're taking something of value and someone is willing to sell it to you when the price is going down and it lands up in your hands, you then know the item is in the correct hands. And that's what you got to think about every time a correction happens. In the last 48 hours, Bitcoin Wells acquired 30,000 Bitcoin. That's 1.62 billion. They acquired ETH while you guys were panic selling due to the market crash. The 7 siblings, that's the big entities, bought $129 million worth of ETH. And who was selling? Well, there it is. The incorrect hands, the short-term traders, were actually the ones selling. So effectively, corrections are moving from the incorrect hands to the correct hands. That is what it's about. Now, I want to quickly talk to you about a correction and about preserving your capital in a correction. As you guys know, I was busy on a challenge on BitFunded. So I'm ashamed and proud to say that I lost. When I say I lost, let's quickly just understand how BitFunded works. It's what you call a prop trading firm. It's a firm where you trade with other people's money. Now, I'm not telling you this to show you the platform. Just listen carefully why I think this is so important. Effectively, how it works is you pay either $49.99, $249, $3.99, or $5.99, and you trade with a demo account until you can prove you're a good trader. And you prove you're a good trader by getting 8% in round 1, 5% in challenge number 2, and then you're trading with other people's money, with their money, but you keep 90% of the profits. I had passed challenge 1, I got the 8%. I was halfway through challenge 2. I had bought myself a $99 account, and I was halfway through challenge 2, and I was long ETH, and ETH turned, and I got destroyed. Okay, in the correction, I got destroyed. Now, I thought about this long and hard. Now, listen to this. If I would have been trading a leverage account, and I would have had $10,000 in the leverage account, I would have destroyed the entire $10,000. On BitFunded, all I lost was $99. And today I'm going to be buying another challenge and start again until eventually I get it right and I'm going to trade with other people's money. That's why this is such an important product. Because if you were trading with your money, you would have lost your whole account when the market caught us off guard, unless you were short. But me, I was long. And instead of losing my entire portfolio, I lost $99 and I live to fight another day, which is exactly what I'm going to do until eventually I land up trading with other people's money, with BitFunded money. If you want to do the same, there is a link below, bitfunded.com. This is where you learn where you trade with other people's money if you're a good trader. This kept me safe because if I was trading my own account, I would have destroyed my entire account. Simple. I need you guys to know that before we move on to the altcoin section. I know that if I wasn't trading on BitFunded, I would have put $10,000 into an account. My entire account would have been liquidated. It's not. I only lost $99. And if the market would have gone up, I would have made 90% of the profits. Biggest fucking no-brainer in the world. Trade with other people's money. Bitfunded.com, guys. I wasn't supposed to show it, but I just wanted to show you how important it was. Let's talk about altcoins, because that's why you guys are here. Look at this. It's fucking beautiful. It's green. Look at it. Wow. Except if you go to the weekly. And then you realize there's still a long way to go to just get to where we were last week. Arweave is still 30% down. Brett is still 30% down. Rune is still 30% down. All these coins are still 30% down. So we've had a good day, but if the bears are right, then we got a long way to actually go here. But there is one chart that I do want to show you. It's this chart over here. And I'm so proud of this chart because number one, I'm the biggest SOL bull in the whole world. Number two, I showed you guys when I thought there was peak FUD on SOL the other day. And I told you we were going to break through the SOL ETH all-time high. And now we have broken through the SOL ETH all-time high. And it looks like SOL is now in price discovery relative to ETH. And SOL is at $152. And SOL can't do anything wrong. It's also printed a cup and handle. And the cup and handle is one of the most bullish technical analysis positions out there. So SOL seems like it's playing out as per our thesis. And to be honest, if there was one token, only one token to hold in this cycle, I would say you have to hold SOL. This is the one. This is the chosen one this cycle. This is the chosen one this cycle. Yesterday, Jupiter and Drift Protocol casually printing $1.5 billion in perpetuals volume yesterday. Obviously, a lot of it's meme coins. Obviously, a lot of it is around the meme coin cycle. But it's great to know that SOL's happening. And honestly, I don't think you have enough SOL in your portfolio. A lot of people are playing scenarios now. What if the SOL ETH chart just got to 0.1? Okay, like right now, and that means that the ratio of SOL to ETH would be 0.1. You would be talking about a SOL of $300 or $400. $300 or $400. But people are always talking about the ratio going to 0.1, 0.15, 0.2. There could be a massive run coming up in SOL. And if it is, I think that's the chart that now represents alt season. In the old market, it used to be ETH, but in this market, I think SOL is the proxy for alts, not ETH. And so all eyes must be on the SOL chart if you want to see altcoin territory. The Bitcoin dominance chart, even though it's looking very strong, look at the BTC.D. Quickly get the BTC.G. So yes, Bitcoin dominance is heading to all-time highs. But what this chart over here is showing us is that usually when we get to this level is when it starts to turn. And even Ben Kahn says, like, he thinks in September, and we're in September next month, that we might actually start turning here. We might actually start turning here. Also in the last 24 hours, $22 million has been bridged from Ethereum to Solana via Wormhole. So you see that there is money flowing from Ethereum to Solana via Wormhole. But I do want to say one thing about this, right? I don't know why anybody would use Wormhole. Got to be honest. Not when there are things like D-Bridge. So like for me, D-Bridge is like the best bridge. If you want to bridge money from any network to any network, then D-Bridge is actually a better place to work. Now, just to prove it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say, I'm going to go to my Twitter, and I'm going to say, if you are watching my show live, you are a legend. Please. And you will be filthy rich this cycle. Please drop your soul address here. Okay, drop your soul address if you're watching the show, and I'll show you just why you should be using D-Bridge, not Wormhole. Wormhole is for worms. D-Bridge is for astute investors. Okay, so you should be using. What do we use to bridge money? D-Bridge. Why do we use D-Bridge to bridge money?
Because it's way better than Wormhole.
It's the fastest to bridge from any network to any network, and it's the cheapest to bridge from any network to any network, and they are partners of Cryptomanran. That's why we do that. Anyway. Okay, are we back? Are we back in live? Okay, amazing. Are we back? Are we back in live? Okay, amazing. We're back in live. Where did you guys pick? Where did we guys lose us? Almost 1 million ETH. They've got $2 billion worth of ETH. So they are actually selling ETH. Look, we are live. You see, selling ETH. Look, we are live. You see, everyone says we're live. Frozen.
Frozen.
Again.